Have you ever just stood in your house and wondered what is really going on inside the walls? Behind the drywall and under the floorboards? Well, today, we're going to decode that hidden world of your home's plumbing. We're using a field guide from some local pros to translate all those weird noises and mysterious drips into a language you can actually understand. So let's get into it.
I want you to start thinking of your house as, well, kind of like a person. When something's not right, it doesn't just break, it sends out signals. That gurgling sound from the toilet, that faint smell you can't quite place, that's not just a random annoyance, it's a message. The real question is, are you listening?
And I bet this language sounds pretty familiar. A gurgling toilet, drains that smell just a little funky, pipes that clang and bang in the middle of the night, or, the one we all dread, those yellowish water stains appearing on the ceiling. These are all just symptoms, little warnings that something much bigger is happening out of sight.
So let's start by learning how to translate these signals. Instead of just seeing them as problems or failures, we need to start thinking of them as communications from a system that's under a whole lot of stress. This first part is all about figuring out what your house is trying to tell you.
And right away, this brings us to a really crucial idea, the difference between a symptom and a cause. The symptom is the obvious part, right? It's the slow drain you see every morning. But the cause? Well, that's the real problem, and it's almost always hidden. It's the corroded pipe deep inside the wall, something you'd never, ever see from the surface.
Okay, so let's go on a little journey beneath the floorboards. To really get what's going on, we have to look at the hidden infrastructure that keeps your home running, and sometimes causes it to break down.
In a lot of older neighborhoods, the story of your plumbing starts more than a century ago. Take places with a lot of historic homes built between, say, 1890 and 1940. They were originally built with cast iron and galvanized steel pipes. And the reality is, that plumbing, which is now 80 to 130 years old, it's just reaching the end of its useful life.
And this slide, wow, it just says it all. I mean, look at the difference here. On the left, you've got that old cast iron. It corrodes from the inside out, creating this rough, jagged surface that snags toilet paper, hair, you name it. It's why you get those constant clogs. But on the right, modern PVC. It's smooth, it's durable, it's a completely different universe of materials.
And it's not just about the drains. Those old galvanized pipes that bring water into your house, they suffer from something I like to call the silent squeeze. Over decades, rust and mineral deposits build up on the inside, making the openings smaller and smaller. It is literally like a clogged artery for your house, slowly choking off the water flow until your shower is just a sad little trickle.
On top of all that, your home is in a constant battle with the environment, especially if you live somewhere with harsh winters. That endless freeze-thaw cycle can crack foundations and burst pipes wide open. Or if you live near a river, you might have a high water table. All that means is the ground is saturated with water, which can easily overwhelm your sump pump and lead to a flooded basement.
Okay, that's enough doom and gloom. We've diagnosed the problem pretty well, so what about the fix? Let's take a look inside the modern plumber's toolkit, because not every problem needs the same kind of solution.
It really breaks down into 3 basic levels. First, you've got your emergency repairs. This is crisis mode. Then you have your routine stuff, installing a new sink or fixing a toilet. And finally, you've got the big one, major system upgrades, like repiping your entire house. That emergency response level is all about damage control. We're talking burst pipes flooding your kitchen, a sewer backup, not fun stuff. The goal here is simple and immediate. Stop the crisis, stop the damage from getting worse, and get the situation stable. It's basically first aid for your house.
So when you're facing any of these problems, from a tiny drip to a full-on flood, who do you call? This brings us to a really important question. How do you choose your guide? What's the thing that actually defines a real professional?
Well, for my money, one of the clearest signs is transparency. The source material puts it perfectly here. Upfront pricing, no surprises. A real pro will explain exactly what it's going to cost before they even pick up a wrench. That way, you're always in control.
And that transparency, it should be built right into how they operate. From that first phone call to the final cleanup, it should be a simple, clear 3-step process. Schedule it, get the diagnosis, and approve the work. And then they repair it. No mysteries, no high-pressure tactics, just a straightforward process that keeps you in the loop.
And then, of course, you've got the non-negotiables, the absolute must-haves. They have to be licensed and insured, period. They need to know the local codes inside and out. Those rules are there to protect you. And finally, they have to offer a warranty. They need to stand behind their work. Anything less is a major red flag.
All right, this brings us to our final section, which is all about keeping the peace. This is where we shift from being reactive, waiting for a disaster, to being proactive. It's all about empowering yourself with the knowledge to stop problems before they even start.
And here it is, your home maintenance checklist. Let me ask you, do you know, right now, where your main water shutoff valve is and how to use it? Could you spot the early warning signs of a sewer line problem? Just knowing these simple things can be the difference between a $500 fix and a $50,000 disaster. And hey, if you need a little extra motivation to take this seriously, check this out. A lot of home insurance policies will not cover the damage from a burst pipe if they decide the break was caused by a slow, gradual leak you ignored or just poor maintenance. Just think about that. One little detail could end up costing you tens of thousands of dollars out of pocket.
So here's the bottom line. The crucial point is that being proactive about your plumbing isn't just about avoiding a soggy carpet or a messy cleanup. It's about protecting the value and the safety of what is probably the single biggest investment you will ever make, your home.
When you really think about it, your home's plumbing is its circulatory system. It brings in clean, life-giving water, and it carries away waste, working quietly in the background to keep everything running. So the final question I want to leave you with is this: is yours healthy?